Hi everyone. I wanted to review what's going to be coming due now and as we get to the end of the semester. The written instructions are actually due for this Friday, March 15th. However, if you need to have until Monday, March 18th at midnight, that's fine. No major hurry. So as long as you get those done within this next week or so, that's fine. Again, try to, when you do these, most of them are like 12 to 15 steps. Some of them are longer, some are a bit shorter. Practice some of the techniques that you learned in this class as far as formatting, in-text emphasis. Then of course you can also use some white space, bullets, notes and tips. Those are really helpful. But make sure to use the criteria or follow the criteria, as you go through the steps. And there's also in chapter 8 of our book, there's about 7 or 8 pages that give you some helpful tips and suggestions on writing good, effective written instructions. I've had in this particular class, I've had students that own their own business. One owner a catering business, and so how you deal with catering a wedding, and how you deal with customer issues and complaints. Because as you know, if you have a large wedding and something doesn't go as planned, whose fault was it? What happened? How do you make the customer happy? And that was very, very, interesting to read those. I've had lots of good ones on making pierogi or lasagna or, fixing something around the house as far as installing a new toilet and one of those wax seal rings, fixing a hole in drywall, how to fix a furnace that's not working, basic CPR. I had a student in another class that did drawing blood. She called it vein puncture. It's for phlebotomists, so she did that one. But I mean, you name it. I mean, I've seen quite a bit of them. So, but like I said, you have until the next week or so to to get those done. So you don't have to get them done until March 18th. Now, for Friday, March 22nd, you have to do a letter. And the letter is that you have to write a letter to a potential WCC student that is taking a Blackboard online course for the first time and tell them some of the pros and cons and so on. There's guidelines in there that you can follow. So it's not really complex to write. It's just a matter of giving some tips and suggestions and so on. Now, for the 29th, you have to do a letter there as well. That letter would be you either can write about a problem or a dangerous intersection or a roadway near your home or, where you go to school, work, and so on. The other option you have, and you have to use some visuals with that one. The other option is you could write a memorandum, this would be a memo report to Dr. Rivera, the WCCC president, and you would be acting like as a faculty member on why we need an instructional technologist. So like for instance, in using YouTube, the way that I was able to find this out from 2007 to 2010, I went to Chatham University in Pittsburgh, but I went online to get a degree in professional writing. And so many of our professors would use YouTube. And I thought, boy, I really like this. And then some would give feedback via Audacity, that MP3 files, and I like that. And so I started to use that. But what I would really, what I would really like to do is use a program called Camtasia, which is software that you can actually put a set of headsets on and then put some screenshots on and just basically show how to do something. So how, for instance, in creating a summary, how to use a feature like auto summarize. You could actually go through the features in Word to show how to do that, or how to use the WCCC collegecentral.com www.collegecentral.com/WCCC, how to use that particular website. So anyhow, this Camtasia, it's something that I'd like to work on next. And another program that I would definitely like to work on is what's called Visio. Not Visio, I know how to use that. Visio is a visual organizer software. It's called Prezi. And instead of using PowerPoint to go from slide to slide to slide, Prezi is really kind of cool because you can show information on one big sort of canvas, one big sheet, and you can go from point to point on it. And if you want to zoom in or zoom out on something, you definitely can. So, in showing like the elements of page design, you could use Prezi for something like that, and to focus on the benefits of white space and of using headings and of in-text formatting or formatting on a website and so on, and even like the block grid layout for something like that. It would be good. So anyhow, the idea with doing this memo proposal would be to persuade the WCCC President Dr. Rivera that it would be really advantageous to have an instructional technologist here at the college. We could train obviously on how to use Blackboard, but this instructional technologist would be a pretty nice thing. And as we move into the beginning of April, like April 5th, there's a resume assignment that's due. And I'm going to have you actually log into like I said, the www.collegecentral.com/WCCC. And you actually have to register, or you can, when you go in, you have to register for the first time, and then you'll have your number on your student ID, and that'll be your login, and then you're going to create a password, and then you'll use that every time that you log in. But there, I'm going to have you create and upload your resume to that site, and also use the electronic portfolio. And we'll talk about that more as we get there. And moving forward in the rest of the month, I just wanted to mention a couple of other items to you as we move into April. So like I said, we'll do the resume assignment, and then we also have two discussion board postings. One is discussion board 6 on using effective style in writing. It has to do with an mGlobal case at the end of one of these chapters. And so that'll be discussion board 6. And discussion board 7 will be related to the consumer report. It's actually not due until the end of the semester. Now, the last point that I wanted to tell you as far as the work that's due, the consumer report, you actually have some time to work on that. But it's due by May 3rd, Friday, May 3rd. If you submit by Friday, April 26th, you'll get an additional 10 bonus points. If you submit by midnight on Friday, April 19th, you'll get an additional 20 bonus points. So it's an advantage for you, and it's an advantage for me to get this work in a little sooner. So I just wanted to run that by you. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what's happening. I wanted to tell you too, as well, as if you finish the consumer report early and the last discussion board, if you finish earlier, you will be done sooner. There is no final exam in this class. There is one quiz, and it'll be in April, and it's worth 50 points. There's 20 questions. It's an open book, and you can use your notes and whatnot, but it'll take some time to do. And so that's all we have, but we don't have a final exam. I also wanted to just give you a couple of other suggestions. When you're working on the resume, you can always meet with Sherry Knoll or John Amariak at Career Services. And of course, if you're not here, if you don't come here to Youngwood, you can always get email contact with them, or also phone them if you like at Career Services. Consider getting linked together or getting on LinkedIn.com. And I am on there, so if you ever wanted to get linked to me, you could. And then if you ever wanted a recommendation on LinkedIn, it's so much easier. I could just write a recommendation in 2 or 3 paragraphs, and you could get it within 10 minutes, and others can see it. And it's nice to create a profile on LinkedIn, but also, too, you can get involved in other groups. So if you're in rad tech, if you're a network engineer, a computer software person, heating and air conditioning or whatever. You can get involved in groups and here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and it's good. It's a good way to connect to to others. So, and of course, tear off the front page of the syllabus. And if you need a recommendation or if you need help or a letter, letter of reference or something from me after the semester is over, I'll always do one of those for you. I help you out as much as I can. So we're moving forward pretty well. We're right on target where we need to be. If you can afford to keep the textbook for this class, I strongly encourage you. It's a good book. I've used it, I think we're on the 8th edition. I might have used it since the 3rd edition. I've had it for a long time and I really like it. So, consider keeping it. It's good to have that type of, book around. And so that's about it. I wanted to mention one other thing, and I guess I covered everything that I wanted to get to today. So if you have any questions or comments, please be in touch, but enjoy this warmer weather. It's great to see it. Okay, bye.